Folks podcast. I am your main man, Dirty Folks. I appreciate y'all being here, man. I appreciate it. I'm on stream the other day. Just found out there's nothing, no clip unless you pay. Crazy work. Yo, so let me change this too. So the government shutdown. Everybody's been talking about the government shutdown, the SNAP benefits of leaving, and uh, what the kids gonna do, what the baby's gonna do, and I get that, I get that. But it's so much bigger than just Keisha and Karen, you know, needing some food. It affects so many other people. I want to. When I thought about SNAP, the first thing I thought about wasn't if Keisha kids could eat. The first thing I thought about is the farmers, like the connect. I never think about the clientele. I think if you got good work and a good connect, good work sells itself. So thought about the connect. And apparently, outside of Black YouTube, a lot of Americans worrying about the connect too.
Tonight, impacts of the government shutdown intensifying, with key benefits on the brink of running out for millions more Americans.
We expect to see a huge influx in people utilizing the pantry.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture says SNAP food assistance will stop starting November 1st for about 42 million people. That same day, open enrollment begins for the Affordable Care Act, and premiums are expected to reach record highs. Michaela Butler, a nurse, says she's concerned for her patients.
We're going to see a lot more people opting out of healthcare that they need and ending up in pretty bad situations.
Nearly 4 million people are projected to drop their coverage.
You know what? Pause real quick. The first time I saw this has nothing to do with what we're talking about. The first time I saw this, though, the first thing I thought was, she a mulatto nurse. You know she was. That was the first thing I thought. But anyway.
Bad situations.
Nearly 4 million people are projected to drop their coverage next year if lawmakers allow the ACA subsidies that help lower those premiums to expire.
It's going to be a reoccurring thing. 4 million people dropping their insurance if the Affordable Care Act subsidies expire. Let me explain to you what that is. And people who went through Obamacare or the ACA, if you want to call it that, they know this. Insurance premiums went up for the average everyday worker when Obamacare came. Did they provide insurance for underinsured and poor people? Yeah, debatable. And when I say debatable, I mean that if you live in most states already had some type of state-funded health care for uninsured people. It was, especially if you were already on SNAP. So, like in Illinois, we had Cook County. We had Cook County care. So if you had to go to the emergency room, but you didn't have insurance, Cook County Care would take care of it. So it's and Obamacare, the ACA, the Affordable Care Act, didn't actually change that system. They just started paying county care. So instead of being paid by the state, it got paid by the feds. They didn't change the lifestyle for underemployed people at all. It's going to be a recurring thing. The fact that you can't afford insurance if the government doesn't help you pay for insurance means that it's a broken business module. That means the government broke it. That's what that means. But let's continue.
A sticking point for Democrats this shutdown.
But we need to assure Americans do not have their inflation, do not see their insurance premiums double overnight. And that's what's going to happen unless Republicans work with us to stop that.
Both sides blaming each other.
I would urge moderate Democratic senators to come across the aisle. We're starting to eat into muscle here.
Today's staffing shortage is triggering a brief ground stop at LAX and delays at Newark Airport, according to the FAA. The transportation secretary says roughly half of delays could be related to the shutdown.
This is exhausting.
The president of the air traffic
control. We're going to come back to this too. Do I sound better? Is the audio better? Let me know if y'all can hear me better. I'm gonna see. Hold on. I thought I turned my mic all the way up. Man, I did. I tried so hard today. Man. I tried so hard to have y'all proud of my audio. Quiet folks. Wow. Hold on. All right. Is that loud? You know what I think it is, bro? I think it's StreamYard. I think it's StreamYard, to be honest with you, bro. Ah, audio is sick. Bro, I think it's StreamYard, man. I've been cool the whole time, man. I come on StreamYard, now y'all can't hear me. Let me see if I can do something with the audio on StreamYard. I'm gonna play this out while I play with the audio on StreamYard.
Controllers Union issuing a warning about those workers already understaffed and set to miss their first full paycheck Tuesday.
Every day that this shutdown continues, this system will be less safe because they're completely distracted from their duties and responsibilities of keeping the American flying public safe.
And it doesn't look like the shutdown will end this week. House Democrats will
I ain't have it plugged up. You right though, Angry Snowman. I had the StreamYard audio was on the mic. I mean on the camera. I was using the camera audio. I'm sitting here talking in the mic, y'all ain't in here. Donate to the Dirty Folks podcast so I could take a tutorial on how to use my equipment. All right, let's get back to it.
come back to D.C., but House Speaker Mike Johnson hasn't called back Republicans, and the Senate will be here, but so far their votes to reopen the government have all failed. Hallie?
We thank you for watching.
Yeah, but that's gonna be a recurring thing. I don't know if y'all heard me when they start talking about the airline. It's gonna be a recurring thing that, or the ACA, that you can't put the feds in your business. You can't put the feds in your business, man. The whole shutdown affects you because the way that they're trying to centralize things. I'm gonna drop the link in a minute, bro. We're gonna have just a whole show. I ain't got no clips. I mean, I got clips to show y'all. Like I can't do none of my drops. All the hell no, all that. None of that, man. Because apparently I got to pay StreamYard, and I'm already paying for OBS, and I ain't paying two guys, so I can't use no drops. So we're gonna open it up and go through it together. But I thought this was real interesting. They said the sixth wave to shut down about to get worse. Man, like as y'all come in, man. Like as y'all come in. I got the audio right too, bro. Y'all like as y'all come in, man. So shout out to me. Yeah, the whole economy becomes a DMV indeed. There was something I want to show y'all. So we know about Snap. Everybody been talking about Snap. Everybody laughing at Keisha like Keisha the only person that does Snap. And shout out Lasers, bro. Shout out to you, Lasers. I can't give you no drop, motherfucking StreamYard. Anyway, but morning Snap, what they did was, I don't care about Head Start. Where's that? Where's it at? We can talk about military too, but the military got their money, so I ain't gonna really talk about that. Right after Snap, though, when you start talking about Snap and Wait, and I'm gonna show y'all something else in a minute. What ended up happening was because of the shutdown, the Department of Agriculture has an essential service declaration. I'm gonna drop the link. So not only do they not get SNAP, okay, cool. Y'all been doing shows on that all week. They don't pay for disaster. Where is it? They don't pay for disaster and conservation payments to farmers will halt. Y'all talking about Keisha can't buy food. America can't grow food. Not at a profit. Not at a profit. This is the perfect comment for something I was doing shows about 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay, guys, I had to stop what I was doing to share this with you guys because this is crazy. Right now, the state of Oregon is shutting down small family farms in mass under the guise of water conservation. Oregon lawmakers are rewording their laws to effectively treat small local farms the same as like a large farming operation on a commercial scale.
All right, right there. I did a show. I just found this video today. I did a show a couple of years ago about Florida. In Florida, they were making it illegal for Floridians to have a home garden. So in Florida, they were doing beautiful gardens too. They were doing something like the architecture was so sick with it, bro. Like I ain't gonna front. Architecture was so sick with it. Their whole front yard would be crates, but well, I'm calling them crates, but they weren't. They were designed, but they the size of crates. But and they would have them stacked up and as some type of mosaic art. And then they would use the vegetables that they were planting, the different color vegetables, as part of the mosaic. It was very beautiful. If you go to a park, like a national park or whatever, and y'all see those the flower or the zoo in Chicago, we have it in Lincoln Park Zoo, and they have flowers in different colors that create the design or logo of the place that you. People were doing that in their front yard, and in Florida, it became a thing. And Florida said, man, y'all can't grow your own groceries on your own property because they were trying to centralize food. And this is what she was arguing about in Oregon. And she's right, but she didn't know what was already happening in Florida.
And let me tell you the scariest part, because I've talked about this on my page before. The way they are finding these farms is they are using satellite imagery to pinpoint your farm and send you a cease and desist letter and insisting that you stop all production. Their government has also set up a hotline so that your neighbors can call and rat on you for watering the vegetables and fruits that you're going to go sell at the farmer's market next weekend. Now, I can make a follow-up video going over detail about these laws that they are abusing, as well as the lawsuits that farmers are filing to fight back. But in the meantime, I want you to watch this video. Go to Yanasa TV.
We're not gonna give her a shout out. I will say this though. That particular video was from 2024. You know who was still in office in 2024? Biden, right? So when I did the show about Florida, that was like 2 or 3 years ago. You know who was in office then? Biden. Everybody talking about what they talk about. But first they try to centralize your food, right? And then after they centralize your food, they subsidize. And what happened? Well, my camera just went out. I don't know what happened. This is the second time it did that shit too. After they centralize your food, they subsidize how much food you can produce, what you can produce, how much you can produce. They give you a cap. It's certain food that's grown in America that they won't allow you to sell to Americans. You got to sell to Argentina. Do you know how weird it is that we sell American USDA beef to South America, but we import our beef from China? You know how weird that is, bro? That makes absolutely no sense, bro. And then after they have you doing all the subsidy, you go through a situation doing the shutdown like this.
Hello, everyone. This is Nick Devine. I'm a local farmer here in southern Indiana, and I'm reaching out to voice how the government shutdown has affected me personally. I started farming 5 years ago, and to do so, I borrowed money with the FSA to buy my equipment and land, pay my rent and input costs. To do that, they have to put their names on my checks, and since the government shutdown has been issued, I can no longer cash my grain checks as I sell them. So these soybeans that I'm cutting today, I won't get paid for them even if I haul them to the grain elevator until the government is reinstated. Thank you.
Bruh. This gentleman right here said two things, and both things are very important. Even if he does his job, he won't get paid for it. If you do a job that you don't get paid for, you know what that's called? Labor with no pay. It's called slavery. The second thing he said, though, is that eventually he will be reimbursed, but he has to harvest the crop. This gentleman has to, he has to sow the field because you got to. It's not like I ain't getting paid, I ain't going to work today. You have to reap what you sow, literally in this case, or it'll go bad. You'll lose it all. And the reason that he can't afford to be a farmer without federal assistance is because of, you know what, even better. I'm gonna let them tell their own story. I'm gonna let them tell their own story. Let's go to the next. I dropped the link. Anybody want to pile on? But yeah.
You farm soybeans. How have you seen this shutdown rather, impact you directly? And how worried are you about the uncertainty right now?
Well, I think the uncertainty is the problem for all farmers, all my neighbors, my family that farms. The shutdown just puts so much stress on us because of uncertainty. We don't know what's going to be available. We have been farming for the last several years, and but for government subsidies, government programs, we would have been in the negative. Subsidies, or government and but for government subsidies, government programs, we would have been in the negative. So we were years, and but for government subsidies, government programs, we would have been in the negative. So we rely on government to keep us in the black, in the negative. So we rely on government to keep us in the black. So we rely on government to keep us in the black.
Yo, when I heard that, the first thing I thought about was the car industry, because that's the most recent, right? When Obama just came through and took care of Detroit, and he subsidized automobiles, right? And there's a backdoor deal to that we don't know about. But the second thing I thought about was 1980s. In the 1980s, um, Ronald Reagan had to go to war with the air traffic controllers. For those who older, if y'all millennials, y'all don't know nothing that happened before 2001, don't worry about it. But for those who, were born in the 90s or 80s, y'all actually know things that happened 10 years before you lived. In the 1980s, the air traffic controllers went on strike because they wanted more money. And Ronald Reagan federalized the airline industry in the 1980s. Before the 1980s, every airline had to pay their own way. You had to buy your own plane, fuel your own plane. There were regulations for how much they could charge you for, ethanol and all that. But you had to buy your own plane, maintain your own plane, paint your own little logo on it. Pay, you would set up your flights. There were less flights back then because you had to make sure you had the plane all the way to capacity. So you had to do that, right? After Reagan federalized the airline industry, it became a government entity. So like the airlines can't lose, right? Like air traffic, like airlines can't strike, airlines can't price gouge. Airlines have better, they have more frequent flights now because it behooves them to have more planes in the air, so to speak, more planes on the tarmac at least, because every plane on the tarmac is more money. It's kind of like Head Start. Um, These airplanes look like Star Wars in the set. Yeah, they did. But I don't even know what happened to my camera. My camera just shut down. Like, man, I'm on strike. But real quick, this is kind of related. The Head Start program in public schools, it isn't a part of public school. I don't think that people know that. Like pre-K isn't a part of public school. That's why they made a delineation of Head Start. Head Start and public school um are things that they get paid based on how many people are in attendance on the first day of school. That's why they always had this push on the first day of school, and they get federal funding based on the attendance of the first day of school. Doesn't matter if 30 kids show up on Tuesday, if only 18 show up on Monday, they budget is for 18 kids. That's why they always had that push to make sure kids come to the first day of school. Airlines is kind of similar, except it's how many planes they have on the tarmac. And when they how many planes they have on the tarmac, and then the feds paying for the amount of planes they have on the tarmac. And then they started removing um private, not privately owned, I don't want to say, but like minor airlines. So now you're getting more and more subsidies for airlines who aren't okay, like Chicago has two airlines. We have Midway Airlines and O'Hare Airlines. Midway was always a national airline. They made it international to get more federal funding, but it wasn't necessary because we already had O'Hare. But in the mean in between time, you have these small Cessna planes, right? Like I've hopped the Cessna. I took a Cessna from Cleveland to Chicago because I had to get the fuck out of Cleveland. I took a Cessna um from Minneapolis, St. Paul to get to damn, I'm about to say, damn, where I live at, y'all, uh South Dakota, man. What that city I live in, man? Sioux Falls. Because Sioux Falls has this itty bitty airport. It only holds like 6 airplanes. The feds pay for those small airports in order for those small charter planes to be able to keep it pimping, right? But the minute that um so they can't strike, and people keep doing that, right? Hey man, I'm on that OBS, man. Today I'm on StreamYard because I want to chop it up with the guys, man. That's just show for y'all, man. I wanna talk to y'all, man. I don't never talk to y'all, man. Pull up. Anyway, and now because the feds aren't getting paid, no federal workers are getting paid. They're all on furlough, right? Well, most of them are on furlough. So they still have to show up at work, but they don't get paid for being at work. And because of that, airline being one of the biggest federal welfare recipients out here, they made a PSA, my nigga. The airline made a PSA for niggas to come to work. I've never seen anything like this in my life, bro. You had to make a PSA video to beg people to come to work. Can't make this shit up, bro.
Day 28 of the government shutdown, and the flying public is with us. They want us to keep coming to work to make sure that their flight gets home safely.
Please know you are greatly appreciated. We need you here. We thank you for coming, even when you aren't getting money in your pockets right now. We sure hope it comes back, and comes back really soon.
Thank you so much for working unpaid, because it could be a matter of people's lives. I don't know why anyone would think air traffic control is not an essential part. We love you, we appreciate you, and everything that you do, from bringing us home safely and making sure that we are good in takeoff, is valued and respected, and you're very much appreciated.
I want to fly safely, so your work is invaluable. It's a shame that you guys have to work with unpaid. I think the government has to really come together and open the government, and you deserve to be paid right here and now. You might get your payment later, but you have to be paid right here and now.
The fact that she believes that it's the government's job to pay a private business's payroll is bananas to me. But And that's why the farmers reminded me of the airlines. Yo, what's going on, man? We got Pam. What the hell is your name, bro? And Angry Snowman in the house, man. What's going on, guys?
Big up.
Big up.
And I know
I
you
know
can
you can
read
read
Pan Mulattoism.
Pan mulattoism. That is, I respect.
That was
That.
crazy echo. You're echoing like crazy, dirty folks.
I'm echoing. God damn,
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
I can't win for losing today, man.
Turn your echo off in
I did.
StreamYard.
I did.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
No, you didn't. Yo.
I did turn it off. Now I got to go back in the audio. Man, I don't like the StreamYard, bro. StreamYard ain't working for me today.
Yo. Yeah, it's you. Because I wouldn't hear myself echo. And you don't hear it, do you?
No, I don't hear it.
Yeah, so it's on your end.
Yeah, I don't hear it. I don't know. It might be the it could be the box, but I ain't got the echo on the box.
Try mute yourself when you're done talking.
I could do that.
Do that.
Or
put on headphones.
Pan was up here first, man. What's popping with you?
Or like laser, put on headphones. Well, he left.
Pan did
Damn,
that.
it's still echoing. Mute yourself. Yeah. It's still echoing. That's crazy.
You know what that is, Dan? That's the share. Hold on. Let me kill the share and reshare. And you had the perfect time, bro. You had the perfect time. Because, hey, my camera working.
There it went. Now it's gone. There you go. You fixed it.
I don't even know what happened, but my camera popped back on. That was crazy.
All I know is whatever happened, it fixed it.
Oh, that
No, man, but to your video that you showed, what I think is crazy right now is, you got all these FAA folks going in and working for free, waiting to get paid from the government, while all these everybody in Congress is on shutdown getting paid. Don't you think that's a little fucked up? That they still get paid while everyone else didn't?
Man, you know what's fucked up? Nah, I can't give no background. That's crazy.
Nobody wants to see you anyway.
I know,
God.
right?
Oh, God.
I know, right?
Whew, we saw you for a minute, dude. That was scary.
Hey, I am not boomer, folks. Fuck you.
That's funny.
That's crazy. I need to get my grandkids to fix my remote control. That's crazy.
Quit playing on them steps.
See, bro, living the side of the line. Yeah, yo. Back when Angry Snowman was a small child.
That was a long time ago.
This reminds me of the Farm Aid. When I say that this government shutdown affects food, and it's like they targeting food because everybody else got to go to work, right?
Yep.
It's just targeting food. And the first thing I did, I might show y'all, might not.
Did people, let me ask you this, did people in Chicago get their EBT today?
Probably not. As a matter of fact, I was in the grocery store 2 days ago. And I ran into a friend.
People were panic buying, weren't they?
Nah, I was chilling. But I was there, the lines weren't even that long. And I was there with I ran into a friend in the grocery store, and he saw me. He was like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "What up?" And I asked him like, "How the wife and kids?" Right? He's like, "How the kids getting bigger? We're going trick or treating tomorrow." And I was like, "You know, ain't nobody got ABT, bro. Kids gonna starve." He's like, "That's why you gotta go to the rich people neighborhoods." He was like, "That's why you gotta go." I'm taking them out to the rich people neighborhoods, man.
We're gonna go up on the northwest side.
He was wild. He had a whole map and itinerary on how he gonna get his kids to, be panhandlers.
We're gonna go over here and we're gonna go to this golf course community. I know the guy that lives off of the 9th hole, he gives whole boxes of candy bars.
Bro, bars. Like they had the whole plan, B. It was crazy. I'm like, all right, bro. But America gives gives $4 trillion a year in foreign aid. So when you affect the farmers and you affect the SNAP, you also affect other nations. And just because I feel racist today, I'm gonna tell y'all the other nations in a minute. But before we get to the nations we get the money to, so I'm gonna let Snowman, be the white supremacist he wants to be. Back when Snowman was a young child,
back when I was burning crosses in young black kids' yards,
there was a time in which they were begging farmers and Americans to feed other nations. And it went to something like
I remember
this.
that. I remember those days.
The simplest thing in the world is to just turn all this off.
For just 30 cents a day.
Hold on, man. I ain't sharing the screen.
For just 30 cents a day. And dude, pause real quick. Go back. I mean, we don't want to see the starving Ethiopian kids. Go back. There you go. Right there.
She ain't missed a meal. Remember Sally Struthers was
skinny? For real, dude. She never missed a meal.
She used to be skinny when you was a small child. What shows was that?
Yeah. She started out skinny, and then she started fucking the Save the Children sponsor club, and she got fat as fuck.
Got fat as hell. That's why she's trying to share food with other people.
That shit was crazy with that bouffant hair and shit.
Turn off babies who are near death simply because
Look, that kid's sitting there trying to eat his finger.
I've seen too much, but I've seen something else too. I've seen babies come alive with new health because people have called and become Save the Children sponsors. That's why we urgently need you to call Save the Children. It won't take much, $20 a month. But where children are hurting, that's enough for nutritious food, medical care, whatever a child needs.
Oh no, wait. I ain't even see that little mug. I ain't gonna call him mug. Hold on, not that one. This little kid right here. This little kid right here.
For just 65 cents a day.
That's a
You could have this precious young baby's picture hanging on your mantle at your house.
For the price of a cup of coffee, you could save this small Yemen child.
This was, dude. I remember this shit. This was.
I'm like, wait a minute.
Nutritious food, medical care, whatever a child needs most. In fact, Money Magazine has once again named Save the Children one of America's best charities. So you can continue to turn off the needs, or you can call this number and say yes to sponsoring one precious girl or boy.
Look, go back real quick. Go back to Sally. Am I the only one that thinks she looks like a washed up porn star?
Yeah, yo, she looked like Debbie does Dallas 20 years
real,
later.
Dude. After Debbie got done by Dallas.
When Debbie did Dallas and moved to Vegas.
Don't forget she did Miami too. And LA.
Oh damn, she was doing it big. She does look like a washed up porn star. She looks like Dolly Parton's
that's
right,
why, dude. That's why she can only speak with a whisper, because her throat's been railed out. She can't talk straight anymore.
She look like Dolly Parton's right hand woman. Remember, Dolly Parton was the madam in the Best Little Whorehouse in Texas.
I remember that.
She looked like Dolly Parton's stunt double in the Best Little Whorehouse in Texas.
I think she was. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Hey, you know what?
I know this much. None of them little bastards in Africa were getting fed.
Bro, and here's the thing. The money, I'm gonna show you where the money goes. And that's why I show the little Yemen kid. Where is that? I just said it. I probably had it where I was supposed to be and moved it off. The top nations, more than 1 billion and U.S. aid money goes to Jordan, Afghanistan, and Somalia, the Congo, Syria, and Nigeria. Yemen and South Sudan also receive about 750 to 995 million. So all the money that's supposed to go to feed the children go to the Middle East and North Africa.
That's nowhere near Ethiopia.
Yeah, that's you know what? That's what they had
all them babies you saw were Ethiopian babies, remember?
Yeah, and they had the fly on their eyeball, and the kids couldn't even wipe it off. They was 2 weeks.
Yeah. They had, the kid with the fucking bloated belly sitting next to the fucking cow with the ribs showing, both of them swatting flies off each other's face.
Bro. I didn't even think about that, bro. None of it made it to Ethiopia. Ethiopia was, you know what they gave Ethiopians, bro? They gave them rice with.
They gave them HIV.
They gave them HIV grain off the plane. They was dropping planes with grain on it with HIV in it. And ironically enough, they got cell phones before we did. They were the test dummies for digital cell phones. Because remember back in the day when you had the brick phone, that was analog.
And those motherfuckers are like, well, how are we supposed to eat this?
Bro.
All they wanted was some food.
Bruh. They
get AIDS and technology.
AIDS and technology that's gonna give them cancer. They had to get all the radioactive cancer out the way in Africa, and then they come into America with the good one. That's how they found out about cobalt. Like, oh, okay, put this in.
That's crazy work. All the while, Sally's over here fucking eating $5 a pint fucking ice cream in the 80s.
Bro, I said, man, when they was talking about the farmers came, I said, hold on, bro. We give a lot of food because now they mad that we did a $40 million deal with Argentina for meat, which isn't really a lot of money. People mad. It's a lot of money individually. If I have 40 million, it's a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money to feed a nation. But people mad about that. Like, what about U.S. farmers? And I'm like, U.S. farmers don't really sell much of their product to America.
Well, a lot of the U.S. like grains and shit that are grown from like in the Midwest where I am, a lot of it goes to to cattle and shit. Honestly, it's a lot of it's used for cattle and silage.
Support the channel, y'all. Support the channel. I'm gonna ride up on you. Ride up on you. Ain't got a hat on today. Y'all think I ain't gangbanging. Look, I'm right down on you, man. Support the stream.
Right. Like, you live in Illinois, man. When you're out in the country in Illinois riding around, see all them fucking cornfields, that those aren't cornfields for human consumption. That's all feed corn that most of them are growing.
Right. That's all feed corn. And in the grasslands, gasoline.
Yeah, ethanol. Yep.
Yeah, the 85.
Yeah, my van runs on that fucking E85. And that shit's cheap right now too, man. It's like just over $2 a gallon.
Yeah. Most grain does not go. Yeah, you're right. A lot of it is feed. And a lot of
and if they are growing feed if they ain't growing feed corn, then they're growing soybeans, and soybeans are used for fucking damn near everything.
America uses so little of its own beef that we don't have beef in our burgers anymore.
I don't know what you're talking about, dude. I get all my beef from a local farmer.
No, that's okay. We eat steaks. I'm talking about mass, like when you go in mass.
Yeah, you're talking like grocery store fucking meat. I stopped buying most of my meat from the grocery store a long time ago.
Oh yeah, you gotta find a homie down the street and just sneak in their backyard and tilt their cow and chop it up real quick and run. A good cow costs you what, 4,000?
The place that I go down the road here, I can get a half a steer processed for around $1,200. That's double what it was about 10 years ago. 10 years ago, you could get a half a steer for $600.
We got to go full Amish. They did that to the Amish. Remember the Amish? They were hunting deer, but they don't use electricity, and they had the feds come through and shut down the Amish. Told them they couldn't put their meat on ice anymore if they didn't have refrigerators, and they confiscated all their deer meat.
Yeah, fuck the feds and telling people how they can eat. I still know some places like where I grew up in Ohio, man. There's a couple places that actually still sell raw milk that's not pasteurized. And if you ain't never had raw milk, you don't know what you're missing out on, dude.
Say word. I'm gonna check it out. I've never had raw milk. I've seen raw milk, but I've never had raw milk. I'll try it.
Dude, some of the best milk is right fresh out of the fucking cow's fucking tit, dude. Be honest with you. I used to fucking work part-time on a fucking dairy farm, and my great grandpa had a dairy farm also, you know, so I was able to go get fresh unpasteurized milk. Like my grandpa, he didn't keep milk in the fridge. He kept it in a jug on the fucking table. It get this like hard bark over the top of it that you'd peel off that would keep the milk from spoiling. You just peeled that off and then pour it. Dude, it's some of the thickest, creamiest milk you'll ever have in your life. I swear to God. It's not the same as the milk you drink from the grocery store. Closest thing you can get to it is whole milk, and whole milk ain't even close. Whole milk still tastes watered down compared to real milk.
So wait. I drank titty milk. It tastes like titty milk.
It don't taste like nothing like titty milk.
Hey,
it don't. I've drank titty milk too, man. It don't taste nothing like it. Titty milk ain't that great.
I always thought it was kind of salty too. Like maybe it's just a nibble. I don't know. I was never a fan of titty milk. That's why I never tried raw milk. You telling me milk? You said cows got better titties than human?
No. What I'm saying is milk, when it comes directly from the cow before they process it and pasteurize it and take all the good stuff out of it, all the cream and all the fucking enzymes and bacteria that they want them to take out of the milk. That pulling all that stuff, it actually changes what the milk is. If you get raw milk from a dairy farm, dude, it's not the same as what you're drinking in the store at all.
No, I believe that. I'm damn near. I'm closer to 50 than 21, and I've never eaten real bread before. I've heard great stories about real bread. I've been invited to bread events, but I didn't make it. But
yeah, the bread we eat ain't real bread.
It's not real bread. Real bread goes.
Dude, look, man. Was you watching them videos online where people were taking their bread that they got from Walmart and smashing it, watching it fucking blow back up?
Nah.
Well, I did that, man. I went and got some bread, and me and the wife both shit, dude. I took a loaf of bread and I smashed it all the way down on the table, and I shit you not, all that fucking bread sprung right back up.
Now, I did see the
I'm like, what the fuck, man? I remember when I was a kid, my mom used to make them you could fit between 4 to 6 loaves of bread in them brown paper sacks straight up and down and them not get smashed. My mom would get pissed if motherfuckers put bread in shit and smash the bread when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? I remember having to eat smashed bread when I was a kid. That shit never bounced back. You couldn't smash it and spring back like a goddamn fucking sponge.
You're right. I'm gonna tell you what else, bro. And this happened in Facebook was out. So we talking 2011, maybe 15 years ago, maybe. I stopped eating grocery store meat. That's when I realized we don't have real beef anymore. When you buy ground beef, it's not meat.
Bro, you want to know when I stopped eating grocery store meat? When I got a part-time job working in the butcher shop of a grocery store. And I realized all the fucking foul ass shit they're doing to their meat.
Bro, when I cooked it and it didn't bleed, and I'm looking at it like, I know as a kid when I was making my little hamburgers, you know, you roll the ground beef in your hand and flatten it out. I'm like, the meat used to bleed. Like, this ain't bleeding. It's kind of a gray pus coming out of it.
Yeah, it's like a purplish coagulation. Like when I get fresh ground hamburger from the butcher shop, from one of the local fucking farmers around here, the hamburger, when you actually brown a pound of hamburger, you still have a pound of hamburger when it's done ground. You don't have a pan full of fucking grease and a half a pound of hamburger left. When you brown that shit's actually, you're actually browning a pound of hamburger. And what's weird about it too is the shit, it fills your stomach up different than the other stuff does.
Yep. And because they don't put the what they call it, the appetite enhancers in it.
Yeah, all the fucking steroids and shit.
Yeah, because you can eat anything in the streets and you'll be hungry before you get home. I'm notorious for that. Like at Asian buffets, ate an Asian buffet, and by the time you get to the car, you hungry. Like, yo.
Look, I thought my uncle was crazy. My uncle had been raising steers my whole life. You know what I'm saying? He would butcher 2 steers every year for his house. All right, he'd raise them and butcher them, and they always had like maybe anywhere between 8 to 12 steers because my cousins would raise them for 4-H and shit, and then sell them at the fucking fairgrounds at the fair every year. But he always told me that fresh grown beef, when you know what you're feeding, it tastes different than the shit that was in the store. And he was telling me this back in the 80s and 90s even, and I didn't believe him until the first time I actually ate some beef.
Oh, that's real talk, bro.
Dude, it even tastes different. It doesn't even taste the same. Like the consistency of it seems, it's almost like, it's hard to explain. You know what I mean?
Okay, for the layman, right? But for the people in the chat, because y'all probably never had real, I haven't. So here's the thing, though.
Look, here's a prime example. All right, I remember one time I had I pulled some steaks out of the freezer and let them thaw out from some shit that I got from, one of the local farmers, and then I had a couple people that decided they was going to come over, and we was already having steaks, and I didn't have any more to pull out, so I just ran to the store to grab a couple more for them. You know what I'm saying? The steaks that I had that had been sitting on the counter all day, and the steaks that I went and got to the store, when I showed them side by side, the ones from the store had like this brownish color to them, where the shit that I was cooking was bright fucking red, bright red, and it'd been sitting in my freezer for a month.
Because it's how you feed it, right? Even not to be perverted, it ain't making about sex, but like in the late 90s, I remember girls like, you got to eat an orange or something before I suck you off, because like I don't do guys who eat garlic, and like they had dietary restrictions on sexual partners, because like whatever you put in your body comes out your body. And so we eating steaks, it just make perfect sense. It make perfect sense.
But yeah, man, but you might want to go back to talking about the foolishness that we were talking about, because I don't think people are interested in the
real estate,
in the real estate convo we're having.
Yeah, but I mean, look, man, shout out to Sally Struthers, man. Not Sally was really to go to my show, be like, I always thought as a child, before I found out all they got was HIV and cell phones, I always thought as a child it was a hustle anyway, right? I'm like, all you get is a folder with a picture in it, and now that's your kid, but you never met it.
Right. And then you get a certificate when they graduate from high school and some shit, 20 years down the line. Like, how do I even know this is the same motherfucker I've been feeding the last 18 years?
Right. And you got me thinking, I could feed her for 65 cents a day. How many other mamas and daddies this kid got? Apparently none, though, because Sally was eating all of the merch.
Hey, Sally was the Kevin Copeland of the Make-A-Wish, or of the Feed the Starving Children foundations.
Man,
or Kenneth Copeland. Sorry, Kenneth Copeland.
I knew you remember. Nobody remembers that, man. Nobody remembers.
Dude, I remember that shit because those commercials were on all the time. I remember my mom rubbing that shit in my face. There's starving kids in Africa and starving kids in fucking China that would love to have what you're fucking eating, and you're sitting here complaining because you don't want to eat it.
Bars.
Well, fucking send that shit to the starving kids in Africa and China then, because I don't want to eat this shit.
And I will argue that mystery. I don't think we had a high trust society back then. I think we had a more empathetic society back then. This is what happens, right? Generationally. I was having this conversation with my boy the other day. And I think I had a Mr. O the other day. Matter of fact, you get a 3-generation loop That's why you have to know history, and so that will make Gen Z basically like boomers because they don't know anything that happened before them. They just know victimhood, but they couldn't tell you the triumphs that happened when they were 3 years old. Like it didn't happen, right? So you have the boomers who probably the most selfish generation that I've ever heard of, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they had the latchkey kids. Gen X wasn't called Gen X to like 1996, 97. All while we were kids, they called us a latchkey generation. We weren't called Gen X until they had to come out with millennials.
Yep.
So by definition, latchkey kind of took care of ourselves. So we went off natural law, right? And we had empathy for other people because we understood that you needed other people to survive, right? You needed a friend to help you fight the bullies or be the bully. You know what I'm saying? You need somebody to give you a cup of sugar or somebody you can loan a stick of butter. So, and until the 1990s, poor people didn't know they were poor because everybody in their community had the same economic aptitude. Like they knew they didn't have as much as other people, but they didn't know how. It wasn't like everybody had like a Bugatti wasn't thought of. A $300.
Nah, man, trust me, being a fucking poor white kid on welfare, living in a very, very wealthy German Catholic town in a very small fucking country German Catholic town, I knew that I was poor. Every day I knew that I was poor, bro. I was reminded of it every day of my life. I never forgot that I was poor.
I wasn't. I didn't grow up poor. I didn't know that I didn't grow up poor until the poor people started moving in with their grandmother. Because you know the boomer generation is the drug addict generation. They keep trying to say they're the civil rights generation. They were the free love generation, and somehow a lot of latchkey kids ended up being raised by grandma. So when they came from wherever they came from, and they're like, "Oh, y'all got backyards?" I'm like, "Yeah, everybody got a backyard." Because I grew up in a house. I thought everybody had a backyard.
Hey,
You know what I'm saying?
Wasn't none of my grandmas raising any of their grandkids. None of my grandmas. Wasn't happening.
Boo. Boo. I reject you.
I'm just saying it's how it was, man.
To be
Look, my grandparents knew that I was growing up poor and that my parents were shitty. They didn't care. They still came by on my birthday, and we still went there on Thanksgiving and Christmas. I still got the same shitty gifts every fucking year.
That's a reflection of how they felt about moms. Yo. Hey, but you know, but my point is like, so you had generations. You have like generations that get it. Like in the 1900s, everybody was getting it, right? By the 1950s, everybody was begging. You know, 1980s, everybody was getting it.
Dude, that's why honestly, that's why I learned how to hustle so early on, because I was poor. You know, I was hustling all them fucking rich kids.
Hey, man. But when you in that scenario, that becomes the generation that gets it, right? So the more creature comforts you have, and the more ways you have to to have imaginary friends, which is what social media gives people, right? They give you an imaginary friend. You don't have to go outside and do stuff.
Absolutely.
You know, you'll never have the adventures that I have. You'll never have the dirty folks Tyler tales that I have.
Oh, dude.
Because you weren't outside.
Dude, the retarded stories you and I have told people. There aren't generations that aren't going to have those kind of stories.
Like my mentee, one of his favorite stories of mine, he told me, was the time that somebody just offered me to get fellatio in the basement. I was walking to the store, man, in my business. I was just walking, and he was like, "Yo, what you doing?" I'm like, chilling. He like, "Hey, you want some? I got a girl on the knees in the basement. Man. Go to the back door, though. I got." And then when I'm going to his back door, he's still on the porch yelling at other people. Yo, Ira, what you doing? Yo, it was like 5 of us in line, B. He had a girl on her knees with some napkins and just.
That's crazy.
And it was wild. It was not my lake. Shout out to Jermaine. It was all Jermaine. It had nothing to do with me. I was just there because he wanted to, denigrate her, and I was down for it, right? But
let's get mystery in here before this gets out of hand.
what I'm saying is the adventures you have when you go outside, like things just happen. You become Forrest Gump. Like things just happen.
Yep. Life is like a box of chocolates.
Well, I want to say this. I just want to say the reason why I say it was a high trust because I remember back hearing stories talking about how you could leave your doors wide open and unlocked and nothing would happen, in the neighborhood and all that. And then
Well, that is how it was
yeah,
where I grew up. You are 100% correct. I grew up in a little farm town where it was just like what you're saying. 100%.
exactly.
We never locked the doors going anywhere.
I give you that to an extent. But the high
And then there
trust.
was also, but then there was also the whole thing of like, if you did something in the neighborhood, then you'll catch a whooping. Your ass will get beat all the way home, and then your parents will come home and whoop you as well. You know what I'm
You
saying?
know
Like
what?
Miss Shirley's down the street will whoop your ass, and then
Yeah, I dealt with
everybody
that.
you get whooped all the way to home. Because
Nah,
everybody trusted everybody.
I
I
ain't
dealt
going.
with that shit too, man. You fuck up it, and it like I remember I pushed over as a kid one time. We were cutting through someone's yard. We pushed over their bird bath, man. Holy shit! Because we broke the top of it, and man, he beat our ass. And by the time we got home, the neighbor down that was like around the corner from the house knew about it. Was sitting there like, "You guys are fucking stupid." Then by the time we got home, I got my ass beat by my dude. I remember one time I got caught out on curfew. Okay, out past curfew by the cops. And the cops took me home and sat in the car and watched my mom beat the fuck out of me on the porch and laughed.
Yeah, that happens to the greats. Yeah. Okay. I
Hysterical.
would like I would like to quantify high trust society though, and this is a quantification of it.
High trust society is you got a bunch of fucking underage kids running around all night long until 10, 11 o'clock and nobody cares and nothing happens. That's high trust. High trust society is nobody locks their doors at their house or the doors of their cars and nobody's house is getting broken into and robbed. Dude, I like.
Well, also, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say what you're saying is 100% because I remember like when we would go away on the weekends for like camping trips and shit as a kid growing up, we never locked the doors to the house ever. We'd be gone for 3-4 days and the house would be unlocked and never came home to anything missing. Hell, I won't leave my house fucking 20 minutes with the door unlocked now.
There's truth to that. Well, especially with the ass whipping part, but the that door open part too. There was a time in which people knew their neighbors.
That too. That was important. Everybody knew who they lived around.
Right, and because I knew who you were, I ain't gonna mess with your stuff. And people, it's always an old lady on the porch. Project dudes do this too, but it was always an old lady on the porch who like, who was that? You go to a new neighborhood, everybody looking like, yo, who's that? Who you looking for? Who you coming to see? Right? Because that neighborhood watch type of atmosphere, it also, enforces a high trust community, right? There's so many people trying to get away from their childhood. People like, I'm moving away from the hood. No, you're moving away from your past. Because the homes have been the homes since before our great grandparents was born. These houses are 150 years old. And the same homes that had a high trust society, if it's low trust now, it's because you're running away from your childhood. You're running away from the dysfunction of the people around you. Nobody just comes out dysfunctional, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I think the scammers and the fraudulent have played a major part in that because now the secret is out about like you gotta see those. It's cheaper now to run those Sally Struthers commercials than it would like on social media than it is to do it on TV back then. And you don't see her or anything like it on social media because we all know now that the majority of that money goes to the administration and not to the actual cause that it's for. Like
I
that's
mean, but
just
that's educated.
standard. That's what I'm saying. It's standard. It's standard practice for these nonprofit organizations of that kind. We know that now that most of these nonprofits that has an agenda, outright agenda, are just a money hustle for the most part.
I
To pay a bunch of people not to do shit.
I think you're being a cynic. I don't necessarily, you're not lying, but I think it's bigger than that. I mean, even if you look at something like the Red Cross, right? The Red Cross does great work, but every dollar you give them doesn't go straight to, whatever's on their mission statement. I mean, there's a cost of business for everything. I think the Sally Struthers thing fell off because the money never got to Africa. I think if she'd have fed a couple of African kids, like Oprah was running a whole brothel in Africa, but nothing gonna happen because she fed a couple of them kids. You know what I mean? And nobody talk about that brothel either, but I ain't gonna talk about it either because I like my channel. I'm trying to monetize.
That's because we knew what it was in the beginning when she was when it was targeted towards girls. We knew it was either going to be. We knew there was nothing good was going to come out of that. Like you gonna go to Africa and they're in that situation and you only going to give the girls money support. We already knew that was going to fail. We knew that instinctively.
Instinct. I mean, nothing ever good happens when you teach a girl how to read. Like
Exactly.
nothing. Like past. I mean, to a certain point, like she should be able to read the basics. But like you try to give her education past sixth grade, nothing good gonna happen with your life. So yeah, I knew that was gonna fail. And it was I mean, education for what you in Africa. Africa need a lot of stuff. They don't need another author. But not to your point of media though. Like it is cheaper. Like me running dirty folks commercials on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram would never have been possible when I was in high school. Right. But I don't think that takes away from the trust. I think we're just in a menstrual cycle right now. Like everything has to be funny, everything has to or violent, you know, sexuality is what the purple and gold niggas call low chakra shit. Everything's low chakra. Because nobody can read. You know what I'm saying? You take away a nation's ability to have comprehension. Like when I was a kid and when Snowman was a kid, he probably remember. They used to have comprehension books like in elementary school. Now they don't want you to comprehend anything. They want you to be able to read, but they don't want you to comprehend what you read. So now you don't have thinking skills.
Yeah, we had to take reading comprehension tests.
Yeah. So what you gonna do? Like if you don't understand, then all you're gonna do is repeat. Then you're gonna repeat slogans like mantras. Black woman is God. You know what I'm saying? I think one of the funniest ones is like, man, in the Bible they say only God can judge me, and then somebody had a comment like, "Yo, that's not in the Bible. That was Tupac." Like you just start repeating things that you heard that sound good, and it becomes your lore. And that's where we are now. What sounds good? Who got a hook? You know what I'm saying? What can I argue about? It's just a different time. So and nobody cares about anybody. They care about themselves and maybe they people, but they don't have the compassion and care about Africa. They don't have the
I mean,
compassion to care about and for good reason, though, right?
Africa is so
Let's
far
be honest,
away though,
for good
bro.
reason. You don't have to look. People don't have the compassion to care about.
Who the fuck is dinging?
In this car. People don't have the compassion to care about a single mother in Philly right now. People are laughing that they losing a snap. And personally, I don't care either. But I'm just using as an example. Like
I think it's hilarious that the government is divorcing single mamas.
I I don't think it's gonna last. But it's cool right now.
I don't think it's going. I don't think it's going to last either. But right now, man, this threat of losing everything, I'm digging the fuck out of it.
I'm digging it too because they're unappreciative. It's kind of like feminism, right?
That very reason right there. That for what you said, it's not because I'm hateful or anything. It's because, like you said, all these motherfuckers are unappreciative of everything that other people pay for them to have.
It's like
But it
feminism.
has to happen because they cut off the agreement, right? Because the agreement was y'all keep having these kids and we'll give you money. You know, we'll liberate you from the man.
Well, they were
Like
supposed to
unwritten.
take care. Well, they were supposed to take care of the kids too, Mystery, and they've you know failed on that job in and of itself.
Well,
Very
they don't really have to take care of them because as long as they make it to adulthood, they're either going to commit a crime and go to jail, which will feed that industrial complex, or they'll go to the army, which feeds that industrial complex. And then you have the talented
which is what
few.
slavery.
They'll go out and be like what's his name? Damn, Thompson, the Thompson guy, the guy who went to Supreme Court. You'll be like him. Do something except for
Clarence Thomas.
Clarence Thompson. There we go. Yeah, Clarence Thompson, or there'll be a LeBron James or something like that. There's an exception
Or
of few
LeBron.
that out of that environment, they'll make it. They'll be the figureheads. Like, yeah, this is what we want. But in reality, the average of what they want is you to be in jail or in the military.
Clarence Thomas is a crazy story because Clarence Thomas really he didn't become Clarence Thomas until he stopped dating black women. True story. So that he the success, I guess, is
That's
black
been a
women.
story as old
I
as
ain't
time
say it.
for.
I'm just saying.
Isn't that a story old as time for brothers though? Haven't black women been holding brothers back since the beginning of time?
Yes, but the problem is they're not doing the first step, and that's having kids. Because empowered women don't tend to have kids, so they're overly empowered right now just being a woman in America, and they're not having kids. So if you don't have kids, then you don't have the workers to feed the Ponzi scheme of Social Security, you know, to get the new blood in there to keep it going. So now it's imploding on itself. You're below replacement, so you can't have a robust Social Security system for the next for generations and generations. They have to take them off. The government has to file for divorce. It's like being on financial audit. You know, like dude, this is it. It's unstable. We got to do it. Like there's no other way.
I would love to say you're right. You're right about Trump. Trump don't love these hoes. The problem is the next administration will love these hoes, so it's not going to be a permanent fix. But you're right.
Yep.
You're right though.
That's the scary part with the next administration. Are they gonna buck? Because right now, like it's gonna come back, but it has to come back at a reduced rate. It can't. It's not gonna go exactly back to where it was pre-shutdown. They gotta start pulling back. They just have to. The numbers are just not there. Just by looking at the birth rate, it's not there. You can't have widespread welfare with a declining birth rate. You just can't. It's not gonna happen.
And a decline in population because the boomers they still want their Social Security, so that's like child support for old people. So yeah, you bringing up
At this point, it's not gonna be there for millennials.
It's not. It's a Ponzi scheme in itself. It's not going to be there.
But who's the ones talking all this? You know, independent boss babe. You know, don't cook, don't clean. You know what I'm saying? This is the frontier generation for that kind of rhetoric. And then they grow up knowing that they haven't had the kids to feed the system, to feed the beast. You know what I mean? It's not looking good for them.
Yeah, but see, you doing boy math. You're doing boy math, bro. You're right. But you're doing boy math. Women can't count, but they don't need to know how to count because somehow, some way, everything will be all right. You know, the first thing.
By the grace
of
God.
The second thing they're gonna do is switch. Women are never starved, bro. And you know how ugly a woman has to be to starve?
In this environment, it's self-inflicted. Like if she's starving because her standards are too high.
Women don't
Like
have
she gotta be
standards.
like, I only eat caviar.
Women
Like
don't have
that's the only way
standards.
a woman can starve in America.
Women don't have standards either. Women have great imaginations. Every girl who be like, I only eat
But
caviar. We have White Castle. Like, no.
let me correct it. They have to have a high objective standard because women have
Women
subjective
have
reasoning,
women have
but they
bottom
don't have
barrel.
they don't have an objective standard though. Because they'll tell you all day they want this guy that has the mark of the beast. But then get pregnant by a dude who means none of that shit because it was a subjective reasoning for giving
Right.
that dude access.
Right. So with anything they say don't matter. She had clothes on. It didn't matter what she said in the first place. You weren't supposed to listen. But women don't starve. They'll always be. What the problem with modern women is they don't know how to be hunted. Like it's men's job to hunt. Well, like women don't know how to play their position. They don't know how to finesse somebody and make them want to give or do something.
See that's the only thing they know how to do is finesse people. They don't.
Okay, finesse the wrong word. Like be nice. Like I used to tell one all the time. I say, man, my problem with women is they don't know how to play fair. Like I caught your hand in a cookie jar. Just be like, all right, yeah, you caught my hand in a cookie jar. I'm sorry. But they don't do that. They be like, well, you knew I wanted a cookie. What? Or they be like, what jar? Either way, it's a bad answer. Cause just
I
I'm
think
sorry.
I think you gotta modify what you're saying because to be hunted means that they have to have an understanding of the hunter, and we already know that they just naturally not inclined to understand the hunters. So I think it's more they don't know how to be prey, right?
They
They
don't
don't
know
know
how.
how.
No. They
Because
they believe they're prey. That's why they like woman is God. I'm a queen. Niggas only want one thing. They think they're prey already. They don't know how to be hunted. In order, eh, most prey doesn't want to be hunted, but they want to be hunted, which is the weirdest thing. They are the chicken that wants to get devoured by the fox, but they the chicken that think they the fox. They Simba. They are, well, they're not no lion though. But like Simba thought he was a warthog. Now he a vegetarian. Like they don't know how to play their position. But I'm gonna tell you something. Survival will make a motherfucker play their position. Grandma told them keep their stomach full, balls empty. That's like universal advice. They don't do that. I don't cook. I don't clean. I'm damn shorty. It's crazy. Fuck grandma. You know what I'm saying? They don't know how to. You, I say it like this. Patrice O'Neal. Shout out to Patrice O'Neal, the late great. He said American women sell what they have. They don't sell what you want. They be like, this is what I got. Like, but I don't want that. I want this. Well, this is what I got. You gonna take this or not? And then when you say no, I don't, I have a choice. I don't want to take that. You must be gay. Like, now it's a shaming tactic. It's never like, well, how can I become what it is that the consumer is purchasing? But the truth is they do that, but they've done it for the government. What regulations does the government need me to do? Or you want me to either get a job or go to school? Cool. We're gonna go to community college to the point that we are the most enrolled people in the nation. That's how black women became the most enrolled because they didn't want to work. They just like fuck it, I go to community college to get benefits. Man, you need me to have a kid, I have a kid. You need me to show up at work 6 minutes early, I show up 6 minutes early. They know how to do it for who they think authority is. They don't they think that men are their partner. Well, men are just better than women at everything. And y'all allow them to think that they equal, but they not. I don't know what happened, mystery. It's a card drop. What up, Snow? All right, there you go.
My bad. I'm in and out. I'm trying to go get some booze for the night, but it's it's just the subjective of it, right? Because they're doing all of this, like you saying, man. They'll do what the government says, but they're only doing it so they can avoid making you a sandwich.
I agree with that. So let's rewind that to your original point. I'm exactly where you are. Let's rewind that to your original point. I don't know what my phone that I hear ring. If she is that type of person, right? Then at what point can you take that type of person and build a community that will be a high trust society?
Well, you can't because she got options. Now, if you take away the options, and so she can still decide not to make you a sandwich, not to make any man a sandwich whatsoever, right? But then when when the other women in the younger generation see the fruits of that decision, you see that's why we had the spinsters and all that, right? I remember a movie there was a movie called Big Fish in a Little Pond. Is that what it was? About this white dude and his dad telling all these fishing stories about his life. And then when the son went on the journey of all these places he went, he actually met what was going on in the reality. And one of them was this lady that he talked about. And it turns out the lady was like an old lady that was missing an eye. And she like one of them old witchy like ladies living in a creepy house and everything. That that's the decision of a woman who refused to make sandwiches for any man. And when the younger generation see that, like, oh, if I don't make sandwiches, this is how I'm gonna end up, missing the eye and shit, wearing an eye patch. Then I should probably just make a sandwich. Just
Okay,
make a one good man a sandwich every now
I hope
and
that's
then
true.
to
I
avoid
swear to God,
that
I hope that's true.
that lifestyle.
I swear to God, I hope it's true. I hope that blessing for all my brethren. I love my brothers. I love myself. I hope that for all my brethren. But I'm gonna tell you how we got to this point. There were a bunch of women born after slavery during Jim Crow who needed men. There were the social safety nets weren't there. Um, the opportunity to earn wasn't really there for them, so they had to get married. And men would do anything for the girl they like. Like if you get to marry your high school sweetheart at 1935, 1940, you'll go to the service. You'll go to the army and risk your life, in Egypt and South Sudan, shooting at Germans. So you can hopefully come home to your wife. You're gonna send out your paycheck with a love letter every week. Like, baby, I'm still alive. Here my check. Take care of the house. I love you. I'll be home when the war opens. And then you'll come home and you'll get a warehouse job and you'll make it happen. And you'll do that for the woman you love in 1940. Those same women that was born in 1915 who got married in 1935 and had a dude go to service in 1940, they have children. And they're telling their daughters how horrible marriage life is. They're married though. The whole relationship goals thing that I've been married 65 years. Those women in her prime when she was 28, 30 years old, talking to her daughter, was telling her how horrible it is, how bad, how much having a husband sucks. Those women who became boomers, those women also eventually got married. They probably had a kid first. It's a lot of blended families. And then they found a husband and they telling their daughters, like my sisters and cousins, how horrible husbands are, how much infidelity, how much they manage the money. You can't get what you want to get because it's other people money. And then you get a generation of I don't need no man. If men are this horrible to be, but I want a man, but I want the type of man in my imagination, the man that doesn't exist. The conversations I have with my nieces when they be like, I want somebody tall, handsome, rich, faithful. He got to be 6'5", make $1 million. I was like, yo, you pick two, maybe three. You got like seven. You're not gonna get seven. There's no man that got all seven. Pick the two most important in the option. Two impossible, like you playing spades. Nah, I'm gonna get it all, or I don't want nothing. Now she's in her 30s, still staying with my sister, talking about man. You know what I mean? The bad information comes from other women. So if your generations of young ladies can look at the three generations ahead of them who listen to horrible information, like y'all had it all fucked up, and then men got to do their part and just not date them, then maybe. And I hope that for you. I really do. But you can't have a high trust society without having without men having a code. Whether that code is ethnic, right? So like when Snow talk about he grew up in a Christian German community, that's an ethnic and religious based community. High trust, right? People who live in small towns and you don't realize that your parents grew up with the whole city, like your teacher was like your dad's classmate 30 years ago and things of that nature. High trust society. When you have people that are transient, and that's what Section 8 allows a lot of people to do is be transient because you can move every year, every 2 years, you can move somewhere else. You know what I mean? And having no kids as a man, you could be transient too. You can move to Atlanta, like I don't like Atlanta, then move to Houston. You could be transient as a single man, but you can't be that with a family. Women do that with a family. So now they have generations of kids who don't have the feeling of community because they almost like army brats. Like, but generations of army brats. And then you break that commune, which breaks that high trust. It's all symbiotic. You know, you better off working on the guys, having the guys do their thing, and then putting restrictions on the girls who can be with them guys than you are trying to change. Because guys are the trust society. Guys are the ones that have to protect the community that they live in. Because men protect their property. We went through that with the pandemic. All the guys in my community were like, "Yo, they not coming to burn our house. Like, we ain't gonna have no Antifa trying to set our stores on fire." And nothing happened. They say he works in the army, brat. Yo, I just got a call from my guy. We about to have tequila time. Man, contribute to the tequila, y'all. Contribute to the tequila. So, man, but it's been a great show, man. It's been a great show, man. I'm gonna be more consistent. I'm back at it after mathematics. Once I figure out what's going on with my camera, where I keep popping on and off. But as always, bros, love your brothers as you love yourself. Feed the pack. Try buck.